Well, President Trump's tariffs on China are in full force, and many industries have sounded the alarm, including the makers behind some of your kids' favorite toys. So what does it all mean for parents' pockets, retailers, and the future of play? Greg Ahearn is the CEO of the Toy Association. He is up late with me tonight here on the Final Five to talk about that and more. Greg, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Talk to me about the impact so far that we've seen these moves have on your industry and the companies that you represent.
Well, we represent over 850 companies at the Toy Association, and a 145% tariff on toys imported from China is really untenable for every one of them. When you think about the toy industry, you think about some of the largest companies that are out there, but what people don't know is that 96% of the companies and manufacturers that make up the toy industry here in the U.S. are small or mid-sized companies. And so a 145% tariff on those companies is really problematic and might actually put many of them out of business if it stays in place too long.
We know that the president has said, in fact, when he announced these tariffs, calling it, quote, Liberation Day, that this was really going to be a precursor to all of these companies just moving their manufacturing back to the United States. Some companies have indicated they might do that, but that's much more easier said than done here.
Yeah, there is manufacturing here in the U.S., board games, paper goods, arts and crafts, and even some large sandboxes that, are too big to ship from outside the U.S. But by and large, 77% of toys are made imported from China, and that is a supply chain that has been around for over 40 years. And it's because that supply chain can mass produce. It has the right pieces of technology. It has the handcrafting labor force where you look at doll painting faces, action figure painting, doing and rooting and styling dolls' hair. All are hand labor. And so there are things that can be done easier and more efficiently in China and have been for many years.
Okay, so we're talking about what's happening right now, but as we look beyond, because, retailers and companies, you're always looking ahead to the next big demand period. Christmas is, at this point, we're still about 8 months removed from the holiday season. But are you starting to see some concern, some impacts involving that?
Absolutely. Really, Christmas is now for the toy industry. And what I mean by that is April, May, June, and a portion of July are the months where all of the toys that end up under the Christmas tree as gifts this holiday season are actually produced in countries like China and Vietnam and India and also here in the U.S. But what we are hearing from our manufacturing partners is that manufacturing in China has all but stopped. The 145% tariffs on these small and medium and even large-sized companies creates so much risk in terms of putting out capital. They're not cash rich. They do not have access to letters of credit and loans. And even if they do, it is a very large risk to manufacture at mass scale toys and bring them in with a 145% tariff. And to that point also is we have seen national retailers actually canceling orders of toys for the same reason of a 145% tariff will raise the prices to a point where they fear that demand for those toys will go down significantly.
President Trump has gone back and forth on some tariffs here, especially when it comes to electronic goods, semiconductors, the auto industry. There seems to be some carve-outs here. Are there any of these carve-outs that you see now or might be on the horizon that might help some of these companies?
Well, we hope for the toy industry. If you look at the exclusions, books are excluded right now from tariffs because they are learning products. And if you think about toys, toys are the best learning products that out there. And there is a history of toys being excluded from tariffs. There was a 1994 GATT agreement that actually excluded toys from tariff and taxes for all countries that participated, including the U.S. So we are hoping that the administration takes a hard look at our industry, the uniqueness of our industry, given that it's mostly small businesses, and that the importance of having affordable, low-cost toys for parents and families and caregivers to be able to get under the Christmas tree this holiday season.
Greg Ahearn is the CEO of the Toy Association. I'm looking at some of the graphics behind you, reminding me some of the toys that I grew up with, and it brings back some fond memories there. So, Greg, I know it's a tough time for many industries. I appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us on.
We appreciate it. The Final Five is back right after this.